What's up, y'all? We're back. And right now I'm doing the actually let me make sure this is not too loud. It's pretty good volume. Yeah, it's a good volume. Sorry, y'all. We're doing the Chansey line. So big changes with these guys. Super big rework overall. Obviously they are much better, just like everything else. But some people might look at this and be like, "Wow, Blissey is the HP mon. Why is it HP? Nerf. It's nerfed. It's bad. The status dropped, therefore it's bad." So I'm sure most of you know that isn't the case, but some people really do might just be seeing this and being like, "Yo, what the fuck? Why is it HP so low?" So two big things. Number one, like this remix is not great. Skipping that. I made a little playlist. I'm gonna start doing that if I have the time. Just that fits the Mons vibe, you know. I kind of got some Pokemon Center music here. Anyways, yeah, big change. Oh my God, fairy type. Oh my God, fairy type Blissey overpowered. Oh my God, it's gonna wall everything in the game. No, it's not. Trust me, it will not. Oh my God, a Violet Chansey with actual defense stat. Oh my God, no. Just I probably sound super condescending right now. It's just I have a feeling that a decent amount of people might see this and just instantly have this visceral reaction where it's like it's overpowered, or the opposite where like it's worse, it's shit, you made it bad. Because people just don't like change. But again, if you're into this hack, then you already have gone into it with the mindset that yes, I have changed the vast majority of things quite a lot. So that being said, yeah, two big things I want to address is the stats and the typing, and then I can actually talk about how they function and my thought process and all that cool fun shit. But first, I want to get that out of the way, just in case anybody's looking at it and is like, "What the fuck, bro?" So yeah, HP is much related to size now. These guys technically do have the highest HP stat currently out of the 60 evolutionary lines I have in Kanto so far, I believe. But for the most part, it's related to size. However, I'm always going to make some slight exceptions. Like in this case, you know, they are literally the HP Pokemon. So of course, I'm going to still give them a giant HP stat. It's just not as giant. And that actually is better for them because then I can actually give them real stats and not just be completely one-sided and literally only have special defense and HP. That's not fun, man. It's not fun. So a lot of interesting things. Also, the typing. There are a lot of pure normals, and there are also a decent amount of normal fairies. I have planned them all out, both the normal fairies and the pure normal types. I've planned them out, their abilities, their general stats, so I know whether or not they'll outclass one another. And trust me, Blissey will not be outclassing any of the other normal fairies at all. Neither will Chansey. But stat wise, yeah, HP stat is more size based. Not completely, because I mean, fucking Happini's like 1 foot tall and has 100 base HP. You know, same base HP as yeah, it's 2 feet tall and has the same base HP as freaking, I don't know what else has 100 base HP. That's like a big boy. Something like Onyx. Onyx, yeah, same base, you know, same base HP as Onyx. But again, this is an exception to the rule, and I still wanted to make it more reasonable. And I also like when the lines follow some sort of trend. So you know, they get 25 and special and HP, and then they get 30. You know, because like it used to be 255, now it's 155. I think that's kind of cool. And then this used to be 125, 135 rather, and now it's 155, so it's like 155, 155. Something really interesting I wanted to point out is that if you want to put into I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I guess what I will just say is that this allows for much more reasonable stat distribution and also allows me to make bigger HP stats a bigger deal. So for example, some other Pokemon that will probably have over 150 HP is like Regigigas, Wailord, Guzzlord, like those types of Pokemon, like fucking big ass Pokemon are gonna have big HP. Excuse me. But again, Blissey is still an exception. Blissey still has probably top 10 biggest HP stats in the game, in the hack, because of, again, changed the way HP works. And that allows me to give him actual stats. So I'll show you guys calcs right now in a second, but I've ensured that Violet Chansey is not just 20 billion times bulkier than Violet Blissey with this stat spread. In fact, item freedom is a huge deal, and also technically Blissey can run Assault Vest, which actually isn't bad because it is actually usable special attack now. So if you wanted to, you could even run Assault Vest and be bulkier than a Violet Chansey with special defense. So Violet Chansey is bulkier, especially, of course. I mean, 125 with the Violet is huge. It's going to be swallowing a lot of special hits, but the Fizz depth is still pretty rough, and you're going to want to invest in it, and therefore you're not going to invest in special defense. I'll show a bunch of calcs in a second. Also, Happini's usable. It's great at level 20. It's good. It usable attack stat for early game. Not great, usable though. Actually good special attack stat for early game, and then shit defense. But you know, it's still like it'll if you invest like max physical defense and then you get like a baby dollars off, you know, which is priority. Yeah, you'll be taking physical hits pretty well, with your HP as well. And then special defense, you obviously absorb special hits. And as for abilities, I want to quickly cover those, but I'm kind of all over the place because there's a lot to cover here. Abilities, I'll get into the actual nitty-gritty of the viability of Serene Grace because it's great, as you guys know, but there's a lot more moves that it can use actually. So Serene Grace, I'll put a pin in that. But as for Natural Cure early game, it's just because the other two abilities that they get don't really fit Happini or aren't useful. Serene Grace, Super Luck is not useful for Happini, and then Misty Surge. It would be weird, in my opinion, if it went from like Misty Surge to Super Luck and then back to Misty Surge. It'd be kind of odd. So she keeps Natural Cure. You know, it's useful for like poison and electric. So poison and paralyzing moves, which are in early game. You know, you got like poison powder, poison gas, smog, thundershock, all of those moves that get always either thundershock always paralyzes and then smog always poisons, and then you have poison powder and other stuff. So it's useful. It's useful for sure. And you can always just ability capsule if you need it. And also, there's not really anything with Serene Grace early game. Anyways, I think maybe Double Slap has a good flinch chance with Serene Grace for early game. Yeah, that's a 30% chance each time. So I've actually have a couple of the math calculations memorized, but if you guys are curious how to calculate multi-hit moves or whatever with effects chances, all you have to do is, I will actually show my, wait. You basically have to take the chance that the thing won't happen. So in this case, if it's a 50% chance to do something, it's a 0.85 chance that it won't happen, right? And then you square it or cube it or however many hit times it'll hit. So in this case, Double Slap hits twice. So you square it. So 0.85 squared. And that is the chance of not getting a flinch. Hold on, am I doing this in a stupid, easy, harder way? Is this 0.15 squared just? No, yeah, see, that doesn't work. I was right. Okay, I'm not stupid. Yeah, 0.85 squared. You have to do the chance it doesn't happen. This is a very unrelated tangent. But it is useful information nonetheless. You do whatever the chance is. So say, for example, Scald, right? Scald, 30% chance to burn. You would do 0.7. Let's say you have an expertise mon that hits twice with Scald. So you have 2 Scalds. You would do 0.7 squared. And that would give you 0.49, and then you do 1 minus 0.49, and you get a 51% chance. So my very tangential way to just simply tell you guys, if you don't know how the math works, is this is the chance that you don't get the flinch. Therefore, 1 minus 0.7225 is 28. So you have overall a 28% chance to flinch, which is pretty solid for early game. All of that just to say a Pokemon with 35 base speed and 30 base attack can flinch. Oh man, I don't know how you guys listen to these. Shit. So yeah, that's Hifini. It's useful early game, and it evolves at level 20, so it'll evolve just in time for Hala. I don't want to evolve any earlier than that, just because Chansey would be kind of overpowered. Excuse me. And also, the whole line of Fenguard is a pretty fitting, very fitting ability, and it's just a useful ability to have for totem Pokemon or double battles. Obviously, you can't use that because it's useless for you, because there's like 10 double battles in the whole game, in the whole main story. Excuse me. Jeez, I'm sick, man. But out of the way, I can actually talk about the cool shit now. So I will talk about Chansey and Blissey and their respective viability and their respective abilities and stats. So something really cool that I have not mentioned until just now, if you guys are reading the docs or you just kind of know, like the second you saw Super Luck Chansey, you already knew what I was going for there. Well, number one, Super Luck also just fits their whole vibe, but also you get Lucky Punch. It's really cool, and that always crits. And like it says here, Happiny will hold it most of the time, so you can just farm it off of Wild Happiny. And that's really fucking cool, man. You can just crit 100% of the time, and you have 55 attack and 80 special attack, so you have actually usable attack stat, and then you have a solid special attack stat for such a bulky Pokemon. you're not like an offensive Pokemon, but you are, you're a tanky mon, and you can actually deal damage back. And you're getting a crit on every move, so you also bypass totem boosts, for example. So say you're fighting, I don't know what I'm giving totem boosts wise, but let's say Totem Morokwin has a +2 special defense boost for some reason. I'm not saying that's what it has, but hypothetically speaking, then you can use, Lucky Punch with Draining Kiss, and you will crit through the boost, and you will deal a lot of damage because 80 special attack with a 100% crit rate early game is from level 20 until 35 is strong. It is powerful. Like, it's actually dealing solid damage, and 55 attack is actually pretty good too. So I'll show you guys with the crit factored in. You are at 343 attack with the crit with Lucky Punch. That's physical attack. And then special attack is like really good. It's probably 426. Yeah, you're super strong. So Chansey deals a lot of damage with Super Luck. With a Lucky Punch. Only downside is you're using up your item slot, which of course you could always just throw on a Choice Band or Choice Spec for the same boost, or you could Life Orb for 1.3. So it's not like this is the most groundbreaking gun on the planet, but it's consistent, and it also bypasses stat boosts and stat drops. So a really cool thing you could do with Lucky Punch Chansey late game, if you are not fighting physical attackers, because otherwise you're going to need a Violet to take those physical hits. This is kind of loud. Is that really the quietest I can make this? Whatever. Yeah, if you're not fighting a physical attacker late game, you can do something cool. You can do like Super Power or Giga Impact, both of which I will show. If this would open up, that would be great. Thank you. Come on. So here you have all of these moves, which drop your stats. They're basically like, oh my god, come on. They're clones of Draco Meteor and Psycho Boost and stuff, which is really awesome. I probably should just put this as Draco Meteor variant, but it's whatever. Because that's the actual widespread one that existed before. Otherwise, it was just like Psycho Boost, and that's literally it. But and Floor Cannon, I guess, technically. But yeah, it's really neat, really cool shit, honestly. And you get -2 special attack, and you get 150 base power with Floor Cannon, and also Hyper Beam, and also Giga Impact, and also Superpower. So you have those 4 moves. You have coverage with Superpower, you have stab with these 2, and then you have stab Floor Cannon as well. And those will always crit. So you can just spam them and ignore the stat drop, which is fucking nuts. It is nuts. Again, 80 base special attack is not riding home about, but with 150 base power move with dual stab, and 160 base power move with Hyper Beam or Giga Impact, you're dealing a lot of damage. The only downside is you will die to a strong physical hit. You will die with 30 base defense and no investment and no Violate. And especially in level, dude, if you're doing it at like level 65, it's fucking Pony Island, and you're trying to pull off non-Violate Chansey, you're gonna be hard pressed to find good results with it. But it's, again, situational. So you could even do like priority Pixie Dust, 80 base special attack, 45 base power, stab, and just slap on Lucky Punch, and you'll be critting that with Super Luck. It's useful. It's very useful. It's not gimmicky. It is not gimmicky. And then especially before you get a Violate, which will be around early 30s, late 20s, depending on how the level curve is exactly working, which I'm not positive yet. Hopefully I don't have to go back and change all the levels and shit, but I don't think I will. I think I've done a pretty decent job at having it in my head with the slow experience gain and stuff. It should be fine. But that being said, Lucky Punch is non-situational. Sorry, it's not just a joke. Like, it's a genuine good item with Super Luck. And then, of course, you still have Serene Grace, which I'll get into in a second, but that's Chansey. And then also it can do regular Chansey shit, like swallow hits. So it was worth being said. So I will run some calcs for you guys. So here's vanilla Chansey, right? So you got OU showdown usage with max, 22, these stupid ass stats. Let's just put in I don't know, Mega Lucario. All right, so you got physical Mega Lucario here. He's going to use Meteor Mash. Oh, this should be Fairy. All right, so we got normal. This is vanilla Chansey. It takes 95% from Meteor Mash with 5 physical defense, and then this. And then if I wanted to throw, like, let's say I make this a hasty, and I make this a mixed for some reason. I'm not even gonna bother putting in the new base power of all these moves. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but it's too much work. I'm not even using Meteor. Pretend this is. Am I really doing this? Sure, whatever. It doesn't matter. Sure. Let's say you're using Flash Cannon and Iron Tail. Sure, those are the same base power in this game. So cool. So you have these 2 steel moves on either side. So and it's super effective. So Mega Luke, uninvested, or let's just throw in, you can actually cheat and throw max CDs there. So, and let's make these equal offenses. I'm not saying this is what Mega Lucario stats are going to be. They're probably not, they're probably going to be higher, but you guys get the idea, right? Just at equal offenses. So you're really just using the exact same thing, but it's each side, and it's a strong Pokemon, right? It's very strong. So on Vanilla Chansey, you're doing, oh, and let me also throw max investment in both. This is not to say that you're always going to have max investment in both. This is just like best case scenario for both. So with max bulk, you're going to be taking 48 from special hits, 48 from flash cannon, 44, I cannot read, 45, man, max of 45, and a max of 115. All right, so this is the range for this. And then if you want to put it in with current Chansey, you got 125, you got 30 with bold nature. Keep that in mind because that's actually going to make a big difference. And then 125 again. So what was the roll on Iron Tail again? I think you take much less damage from Iron Tail, but I could be wrong. Am I stupid? Do you take more? Hold on. I ran these calcs earlier, not with this exact thing, but I ran them. Crap, what the hell was it? Ugh, come on. Let's just put it in again. Let's put this as 250 and 105 as their normal stats. Okay, no, you take way less from Iron Tail because of HP. But, wait, what? Oh, because you defy. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, here. So I remember now. So 115. 115 or 122. So yeah, that was correct. Okay, thank God. So you are slightly less bulky than you used to be overall. I believe Flash Cannon. Actually, no, I think Flash Cannon did more. No, Flash Cannon did less because of HP. Right. 44 is vanilla. 44 versus, I think it was something else. 61. Okay, yeah, no. So you're just less bulky overall. Especially, actually, you're significantly less bulky, and then physically you are slightly less bulky, but you're much stronger. So you're not a passive blob anymore. That's the most important thing. And also because I don't want these like ridiculously bulky Pokemon. I don't want this to be the bulkiest Pokemon in the hack, man. And some of you guys might be thinking in your head, well, why does it have to be able to? Why is it not passive? It's Blissey. It should just be a wall. It should just be a blob. That's what Blissey is. I respect your opinion, but I disagree. In competitive, of course, 100%. But this is not competitive. This is a completely different dynamic, almost incomparable. You could argue it's incomparable. Actually, I would argue it's incomparable. I am relatively well versed in competitive, not anything like impressive. Like I've never played tournaments or anything like that, but I have a good, decent baseline knowledge of it, and I have an extensive knowledge of like hardcore Nuzlocke and stuff. And I promise you, the dynamics are just not comparable, and I'm sure most of you know that as well. But for the few of you who are thinking, oh, or who have a lot of people may be saying this, and who are competitively minded and not in-game minded, and so they'll be like, oh well, this is ridiculous, and it would be, of course it would be ridiculous and also stupid and unnecessary and blah 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 blah. But this is tailored for in-game usage, and being passive, especially when you have no potions, is not ideal, especially because they don't have toxic anymore either. It would be useful as like a pivot or something, but it's just not really. And I guess seismic toss is cool, and you can status stuff, and it's good, don't get me wrong, but this is much more fun in my opinion, and again, much less passive, and you're still bulky as shit. Like I don't think like 125 with the, so I think I did the math. I'll show you guys right now. 30 base. Let's put this as Jolly. So max physical defense Chansey is 261 physical defense. All right, that's max physical defense Chansey. That's max at 261, and then you have Blissey is 240. So 240 versus 261, not a huge difference there. Not a huge difference at all. And then especially, you have a huge difference with Chansey and Blissey. So especially you got like, let's just remove the Eviolite from this and then put in Blissey's stats, which is, yeah, so these are the calcs for, oh, they're actually, yes, I was right. Okay, I was worried that like I did all this planning and then I actually messed up the calcs. No, I was right. Blissey is only slightly less bulky. I believe it was maybe 124. I don't remember. You guys can check back in the video and look and compare the two numbers. I should have written them down, but Blissey is not much less bulky. It's actually bulkier when you factor in the fact that it can hold items and stuff, which is really a big deal in this hack because you're going to want the super effective weakening berry. You're going to want the item, the choice item. You're going to want the citrus berry, whatever. You're going to want to be able to swap your items around. It's a big deal. So being restricted to Lucky Punch or a Violite for the most part is a pretty big cripple for Chansey. I shouldn't have said cripple, sorry. Handicap, although that's not that much better. Sorry if that offended you. But it's not a huge like handicap. I'm just gonna say that because that's actually a term people use for games and stuff. It's not a huge handicap, but it is definitely something to hold it back. But again, especially as a blob still with the Violate. 125 with the Violate is blobby. Your defense is slightly higher, and that's only if you invest max. But again, Blissey can hold an item, big deal. And while you have Super Lucky Punch, which is very cool for Chansey, you have Misty Surge with Blissey, which is arguably worse, of course, but Misty Surge is by far the worst of the 4 terrains, especially in Gen 7 when they boost by 1.5. Misty Terrain gives no boost, but it's still useful because, number one, it has dragon moves, which are so powerful now. Finally, I brought them back to their former glory, because dragon used to be great, and then they shit the bed, and now dragon is great. Is one of the best. I mean, I purposefully made their moves extremely powerful with very low drawbacks, especially the special ones. Special ones, you got 100 base power at 30% para, 75 base power at 30% burn. You got boom burst dragon type. You've got the burn move, whatever. You got Draco Meteor, and then you got one of these exclusive like nuke moves. It's really cool stuff, man. And then physically you have great stuff too. But point being, having those moves is, yes, it's situational, and of course you're immune yourself, but you're gonna have teammates. So you can set up that Misty Surge and then switch out to your teammates and take the dragon hits much better, half them completely. Another big deal is status. Being immune to status is very nice, especially for Blissey, but also just for your teammates. You can completely ignore status moves, which is very useful. And another really cool thing is probably actually arguably the better application of Misty Surge is Misty Seed. Either Blissey itself can run Misty Seed and get +1 defense. Actually, I believe Misty Seed is special defense. I believe it is special defense. Yes, special defense. So you get +1 split F, and that makes you immediately bulkier, especially than Chansey. Immediately. So you can run 0 special defense investment, max HP, and max defense, and then run Misty Seed, Misty Surge, and just get a +1 split F, and you're tanky as hell, and that's already bulkier than Chansey. And then you don't have to worry about the item freedom. You're not technically bulkier physically. Actually, I think you are. I forget what the numbers were because your defense stat is close, but your HP stat is 30 points higher. So while I think this was hitting 241. This was hitting 260. This was hitting 241 at max with defense, 30 base versus 60 base with a Violite. However, 30 more HP, so I believe Blissey would maybe edge it out or at least be very comparable. So item freedom's great there. You got Misty Seed, Misty Surge. You can also do that with your teammates. And you can use lots of stuff with Misty Seed with teammates. You can use Misty Seed Unburden is great as an option. You can use Misty Seed Acrobatics. That's great as well. And you can also just use Misty Seed to boost your teammates and up, and set up. But especially Unburden is really good for Unburden strategies, which is a relatively common ability now. And then of course Acrobatics is useful as well to get the instant Acrobatics and also get a +1 split up. So very useful stuff there. It's a little bit niche, but it's useful, definitely. And it's also useful for the trainers to use because they can. Status is much more detrimental to a trainer because you can prepare. You can look at the fucking trainer docs and be like, oh shit, this trainer has Will-O-Wisp. Let me slap a Rostberry on my Haxorus, whatever you want to do, so make sure it doesn't get burnt. So you can switch in. If you're planning ahead and you're using the docs to actually like plan out each turn, which I don't think is necessary. I mean, it is if you're doing a hardcore Nuzlocke. It's better to do that if you're doing a hardcore Nuzlocke, but if you're just playing for fun, then don't worry about this. This is not for you. But if you're doing hardcore Nuzlocke something, you're probably gonna be one type of person to plan out each turn, and then Misty Surge is great there. But for teammates, for the AI, it's actually much better to have Misty Surge because they can't do any of that. They just stay in for the most part. Besides with like a check button, which I buffed to always work, which is really cool for trainers too. Obviously for you, it's really useful and has tons of applications, but it's also great for the AI because they can actually switch out that way. Although it is still exploitable as fuck. You could definitely exploit that on purpose, actually, but part of the dynamic there. Cool stuff. I would likely. What was I going to say? I'm sorry. What the heck was I gonna say? Wait, eject button is eject button after? Am I? No, eject button switches you out. Yeah, I'm not wrong. A red card switches them out. Yeah, for a second I got it mixed up. Red card switches them out. Eject button switches you out, and you get hit. Yeah. Sorry. Very on an off-topic side tangent, but point being, Chansey and Blissey are very equal. Chansey might look better on paper, but I promise you it is not. Item freedom is really important. Misty Surge is valuable. Item freedom is the biggest reason it's not better, and also just overall it's bulkier if you don't count a Violite. Well, obviously if you don't, that's a no-brainer. What I mean to say is if you count the fact that Blissey can also run other bulky items like Assault Vest or something, or Misty Seed with Misty Surge, it's bulkier. I hope that's enough tangents about the stats. Other really cool shit they have, guys. There's so much to cover. I really wish I had not had my thoughts this disorganized, but something really awesome they have with their 55 base, well, 30, 55, and 60 base attack stats. You might be thinking, oh, well, why even have that attack stat? Also, some of you guys might be thinking, oh, well, how do they even attack? Like, they're blobs. I mean, dude, they literally already got, like, as you can see here, like with the plus means it's a new move. Without the plus means they had it already. They already got fucking Earthquake and Double Edge and Takedown. They already got these moves. I didn't add those in, but that's shit they got already. And I know it's kind of like a joke, and I know a lot of, especially normal types, just get fucking moves for no reason. I know that, but I mean, clearly they intended for it to be able to actually, like, I read somewhere once that people who do stats and move sets don't look into the lore, or at least more recently. That's something they don't do, but I don't know how that worked back then. Point being, it's a pretty fucking big blob, and it should be able to hit decently hard. I mean, 60 base is weak, but with boosts, it's good. And most Pokemon that get Hop or Z Hop get it, which is just Splash, but better, more distribution. Where is it? Oh Lord, hate when it does that. There we go. Most Pokemon that get Hop get it in like the mid 30s or 40s or even 50s because, you know, it's a +3 attack Z move, and Z moves also ignore taunt, which is a big deal because there's no mental herb, so you can guarantee the setup with the anti setup taunt stuff, which is really useful. But Happiny is 30 base attack, so I figured why not just fucking give it to him at level fucking 1. But even Happiny with +3 attack is strong, man. Like, you're hitting with max. Obviously this is max here. I'll do you guys one better. I'll do neutral nature. I'll do a neutral nature Happiny. That's equal to base. I think that's almost one. I think it should be about 130 something. Let's check with Jolly again. Check 130 something. Yep, 132. Or sorry, 132 or 131. There we go. 131. You have base 131 attack at +3 attack. As Happiny, and you have priority Fairy Blood right there. You have priority 50 base power Fairy Stab right there. Literally just Z Hop and then Fairy Blow, and if you can somehow get Happiny in safely against Hala, which will be hard because you have 20 base defense, if you can get a free turn up versus Hala and get that Z Hop off, you will sweep. Besides, unless I give him Roselli Mons or priority of his own, which he will definitely have priority of his own, but I don't know if the AI is smart enough to use it unless you're low HP. That's another really big con of priority moves on AI. They sometimes don't use it unless you're low HP, which sucks. I would likely ensure that one of his Mons has only lower power moves, so that way Mach Punch or Bullet Punch or whatever would end up being their best move against you. So it's not infallible. You can definitely take out like at least 2 or 3 Mons with Z-Hop, Fairy Blow, and if you time it right, you can sweep him or finish his team off. Super useful stuff, and also just flat out Fairy Blow is useful. Also, you're Chansey at that point. What am I talking about? You're Chansey at that point, and at that point you're hitting. I mean, dude, 30 base attack hits 131, right? So think about 60 base attack hits 600, 600, which is I believe about 230 something. Yeah, about 220 something. Yeah, 233, 223, 224 attack. After a Z hop. Another really cool thing you can do for setting up is well, of course you have like late game, you have, or mid to late game you have bulk up, which is useful, of course. But with Z moves again, which also bypass taunt, you have Z copycat, which is cool. It's actually a smaller boost than hop, but it's actually useful. It's actually like a usable move because hop is completely useless unless you're running the Z move, so that can kind of take up your move slots, and there's no relearner, so until the end of the game, so it can be pretty niche to keep that on your Pokemon that already wants all 4 of its move slots. But at Copycat, it's actually like it's a less situational move. Still situational, but the really cool thing about Z Copycat, especially on a slow Pokemon, the way I buffed it, it's +6 priority, right? So these guys have 35 base speed, they're slow. But the cool thing that you can actually do here is you can use so for example, say I use, I don't know, Hoodwink, right? I'm using Hoodwink. So they go first, they attack me with whatever move, and then I go after. I use Hoodwink, I do baby damage. Then the next turn after that, I use Z Copycat. I get +2 attack instantly, and then it's +6 priority, and then I use Hoodwink again. So that one is priority. So you basically turn your move into a +6 priority move, which actually technically is the same power as same priority as Protect and shit. So you could actually tie with the Protect mon, although usually most Protect mons would probably be faster than you. But you guys see the idea. It's really great stuff there. I mean, absolutely amazing stuff, really. It's a gimmick, of course it is, but it's still useful. And this is the most recently used by any Pokemon. That's my point. So it's not like Mimic where it's the target's move. It's any move that was last used. So you can copycat your own move, and because it's priority, and if you're using it on a slow Pokemon, if you move last the turn before, your move will be the last used move. Therefore, you can then copy it and use it again, but for priority. After that, it won't work anymore though, because then you moved first, then they'll move after you, and then if you use copycat again, you'll just be copycatting their move, so it won't work anymore. You can still copycat their move if you actually, that could have some very interesting applications rather, but Chansey itself is a slow Pokemon. It would be better suited to have the consistent priority move with Z copycat, and then you of course get +2 attack, which is 55 base at +2 is pretty strong, very strong. Yeah, 458. I mean, I don't know. You guys, I feel like you guys can just tell how high that is at level 100 without me having to show you the base stat equivalent in every case, because that takes a little while. Usually I can eyeball it, but I'd rather just get to the point, because you guys know I struggle with doing that. Yeah, Z Copycat's a cool meme. Flail's cool for like, physical attack. Hold back gives you plus, so it can't knock out opponents. So that's one con. It will never kill them. Which you can actually use that. You can actually like abuse that if you're smart with it. You can really actually abuse that genuinely, which is cool. But I wonder if there's something really cool you could do other than just keeping them on the field. If they're like, let's say they can't touch you and the AI isn't switching out and they're -6 from using certain moves, or you just, let's say you tickled them 20 billion times, right? Like that's a better analogy because you have tickle. Or hypothetical, you have tickle, you have the move. So say you're using tickle and to hold back, so you tickle them, they're -6 attack, and then you can hold back spam and get +6 attack from holdback easily. I believe I made them. No, they probably only have 5 PP. They have 10, so you can get +6 actually. And keep them on the field, meaning you won't kill them. So that's a really cool implication of the move. It's useful. Although yes, there are other times where you're gonna want to just kill them on, and so that's kind of the benefit or the balancing of the move. And you also get accuracy boost, which isn't really useful in Chansey's case because most of his moves are pretty accurate physically. The only inaccurate physical moves it has are like Meteor Mash has a 5% mischance, I guess. And that's basically it. And then I guess like Zen Headbutt has a 5% mischance. Rock Slide has a 5% mischance. Nothing has less than a 5% mischance though, physically. Nothing, not a single move here does that. So not super useful in Blissey's case, but it's still cool. Or Chansey's case. Both of them can use this, obviously. Cool idea, cool move, cool strategies. Now I think I can get into a couple more Z moves, and then I'll get into Serene Grace, because Serene Grace is fucking great, and they have tons of shit to abuse that with as well. And then I didn't even talk about soft boiled, man. So signature soft boiled, because the animation shows them eating an egg and it's a healing egg, and I mean technically Exeggutor isn't made of eggs, and then technically what's another egg? I guess Togepi technically theoretically could get this. I will consider it, but most likely not. I think it's cool just to be exclusive to Chansey. Although it wouldn't be that overpowered on Togekiss, so maybe I will do it at level like 70 or something. Although Togekiss isn't really an egg anymore. Mostly just the pre-evolutions, but you guys get the idea, right? And also they don't have an egg to eat, They don't even get soft boiled in the real games. I think I'm pretty sure it's just Chansey and then like a couple other random shits by like event. I think Clefable gets it by event, and it's good and competitive because it has more PP than Moonlight. But anyways, and that doesn't matter here because they all have 5 or less PP. PP. God, shit. What was I saying? Got distracted by the PP, man. Tons of utility. I mean, I don't know how to say all that. You got Tickle, you got Charm, you got Befriend, you got Healing, you have Wish with 125 or 155 HP. Wishes. Oh, another really cool thing I wanted to put this in perspective. Blissey's bulk. So Snorlax, right? It's actually very comparable. Snorlax has 5 more physical defense in vanilla games. For the Snorlax, the stats will be much different, of course. But in vanilla games, like if you want to reference, you have very similar bulk to Snorlax physically, and then special defense you have, you know, huge special defense, but it's comparable physically. So, you know, think about how physically bulky Snorlax is, and then that's about how physically bulky Blissey is, although Blissey has the fairy typing. So that's a cool little reference that shows you that like Blissey is not going to die to physical hits anymore. If you invest it, it will take physical hits pretty well. With or without without a Violet, obviously you can't run it, but Chansey will take it with a Violet as well, which is really nice for them. So yeah, soft boiled, quick signature move, very cool stuff. I know this is blank, by the way. I haven't decided what it's going to do yet. I'm going to write that in once I figure it out, once I get to Miltank. But that's also why I add these things as I get to the Mons, unless I just happen to have them on here already, which in these cases I did. But anyways, y'all, this will get filled in. Don't worry. Like I know that it's missing stuff, and these are also always subject to change. I can always change these, but I'm getting very sidetracked. Point is, Z soft boiled gives you +3 speed, which is useful. But soft boiled itself is just a great move now. It's level 70 for a reason. You have 2 uses of it to balance it out. You know, you can only use it twice, but it's basically like it's basically like if you had 2 max potions in an item. That's it. That's the best way to reference it. You can, because in the game you can't heal. I've disabled healing items. The only thing you can use is citrus berries. I guess if you wanted to be a little cheapskate and like spam citrus berries on your mon, I don't think that's in the spirit of the game, because I would make that impossible if I could, but I can't. But you know, it's not game breaking. It's 25% health. It's not gonna. It's a little cheesy though, so I wouldn't do it. But oh, especially with the status berries. But anyways, very off topic. This is +4 priority, so it's. I mean, I guess technically it protect and a couple other shits outspeed it, but for the most part, it's like a potion. So, very useful stuff there. Very, very cool and useful. You can basically just get 2 max potions, and that's great with setup, because otherwise you're slow and your best healing moves only heal half your HP. You know, Moonlight heals half, Wish heals half the turn later, and you can pass that on to teammates, which is very useful. That's the reason you would use Wish over it. And you have like Giga Drain, Draining Kiss, Drain Punch, and shit to heal as well, but reliable, and Rest. But Rest, of course, has the downside of making you fall asleep. Although you could do fun shit like Snore. Not every mon has Snore now because it's 100% glitch right now, but it's the mons I give Snore. It's pretty cool little secret little tech there you can throw on there. It's pretty niche because Rest only lasts 2 turns, and so you're gonna have to rest up again, and it's like kind of annoying, and also Chansey's not super fast, but it's actually slow as fuck. But if you have like Thunderwave. Speaking of, okay, I think I can really start to get into actual. Okay, last things I want to get into Belly Drum. Z Belly Drum is great on them. Belly Drum with priority, Fairy Blow is great on them. Belly Drum with Drain Punch is great. They can get off Belly Drum very easily thanks to their good bulk. Great physical moves overall, great special moves overall, great coverage. They already had great coverage. I didn't have to add that much really. I barely added any, to be honest. And all the coverage, like the only new coverage, I guess, technically could be like more reliable grass moves and water moves, I guess, or stronger ones. That's really it. Everything else they had already. A bunch of utility stuff there as well. Oof. Serene Grace, and also so soft boiled is great. Also Z soft boiled is really useful for like setup sets. So for example, you heal the max, right? So you can, if you time it correctly, you can really just sweep people, because Calm Mind is 3 PP, bulk up is 3 PP. So you can get 3 Calm Minds up or 3 bulk ups up, and then Z soft boiled, and then get +3 speed and max HP, and you're good to go. You can technically sweep because +3 speed with base 35 maxes out at 462, which is super fast. And then if you run 0 investment, neutral nature, okay, that's bad, but max investment is better. Yeah, so if you invest into speed and then you're running neutral nature, you're going to be outspitting a shitload of things with 422 speed. So that's a cool little tech there as well. Alternatively, now this is the transition into Serene Grace, and then I think I'll be done covering them. Serene Grace, very useful ability, as you all know. Tons of new moves have tons of new effects, and also old moves have great new effects and increased chances to do things. And so you can utilize that with Thunder Wave and usual. You can be a cheap little bastard and paraflinch things to death if you want to be that guy or girl, or not neither. For all my NB folks, not to say that I am as well. That I need to shut up. I just want to be inclusive, man. Body Slam has a 60% paralysis rate as on base power. Thunderbolt 20% paralysis. That is the wrong color. Has that always been like that? Hold on, I want to make sure the little template thing that I recently added a little template at the bottom to save me the time of having to color every move individually. It's my fault. That's fine though. It only affects Chansey because the only other mons I did it for was Rhyperior, and they don't get Flamethrower anymore, so it doesn't matter. Right? Yeah. So that being said, you got all these great moves with like special defense drop rates. I mean, you have like okay, cool stuff. Cool, notable Serene Grace moves. Right? We're gonna focus up. Notable Serene Grace moves: flinch rates with Paraflinch, or Z Soft Boil to give the speed, and then you can Paraflinch it to death with speed boosting. Z Soft Boil will heal you. You will you will get healed. You will bypass taunt if you're already taunted as well. Meaning, like, if you got taunted turn 1 and you wanna use whatever fucking move, and then next turn you want to Z Soft Boil to heal up, you can do that and completely ignore a taunt as well. Although it's more useful with non-priority healing moves because you might get taunted that turn and want to heal. So, point being, Paraflinching. You got Hoodwink. Excuse me. You got Hoodwink, 30% flinch, stab move. You got Headbutt. Come on. There we go. 30% flinch rate. All right. You've got Bounce, 30%, has 60% paralysis rate. You've got Body Slam, 60% paralysis rate. You've got freaking, what was I saying? You've got, God, what was I just saying? You have, oh, I remember what I was called. Oh, Meteor Mashes. Okay, since it's here, I'll talk about it really quick. I was gonna say Zen Headbutt. That's what I was gonna say. I got really mixed up on my words, but Zen Headbutt also 60% flinch, which is great for coverage. Also Iron Head, because they already got Iron Tail before, but I mean, I guess Chansey technically has a tail. Chansey Sprites. I think Chansey technically has a back tail. Yeah, I guess technically they could use Iron Tail, but I believe Blissey loses the tail. I'm like 80% sure Blissey loses the tail. Yep, Blissey loses the tail. I was right. Okay, that's why I don't have it. Because in cases where the evolution has a tail, I can give them tail moves or kick moves or whatever, punching, whatever. But if the pre-evolution has it, I can't make it exclusive to only the pre-evolution. That's not possible. Even at level 100, because the fucking move relearner gives you in Gen 7 gives you all the moves up to level 100. So I can't even do that. I can't even give a little gimmicky. Like, for example, I actually have wanted to do cool stuff like Shell Smash, Shell Gun and shit, but you cannot. It's not possible. Otherwise, technically, then Salamence would be able to learn it by move relearner, which is fucking lame, and it's a big sad bummer. Oh, you know what I could do? If I have enough, this is so off topic, but if I have enough gift Pokemon slots or Island Scan post-game slots, I could do cool shit. Like, I can make it level 100 already. So that way you cannot evolve it. You cannot evolve it. So you will always have that move locked onto that Pokemon. So that's something of note for myself out loud, because I am thinking out loud right now. Why did it just go all the way down there? Come on. Fuck, come on, dude. Thank you. So, like I said, a lot of flinching moves. Paraflinch. You have more that I haven't even listed yet. And then you have other stuff that like drop stats. So you got like Play Rough, which has a 100% chance to drop attack with Serene Grace. I mean, that's great, man. That's fucking great. I mean, yeah, you have a little bit of recoil, but come on, dude. 100% attack drop with Serene Grace is so useful. I believe Double Edge is the same thing, but for defense. Yes. Double Edge always drops defense with Serene Grace, which is great for physical sets. I believe Takedown does the same thing. No, that's 60%, so that's still really high, though. Still really useful and high. Tons of other stuff. Again, there's so much to list here. Other notable Serene Grace stuff. Try Attack. If I could go back, please. I didn't mean to even switch tabs. Try Attack. 35 base power hits 3 times. Each hit has a 20% chance to burn, paralyze, or freeze now. So do the little math formula I did earlier. I did this earlier, so I know it off the top of my head. I believe it was 48% chance overall. That doesn't sound right, though. Huh? That does not sound right. Let's do that really quickly. Hold on. 0.8 cubed. No, I was right. 49%, rather. 49%. Because this is you have to do the reverse of this, so about 49% or 48.8, whatever. 49% chance to either para, burn, or freeze, and then I ended up dividing that by 3. I remember how I got the math. Yeah, so 48% chance overall. And you divide that by 3, you get a 60% chance to either burn, paralyze, or freeze, which actually isn't that crazy, because Ice Beam has a 20% chance. Like, T-Bolt, Ice Beam, and Flamethrower alone have 20% chances to do either of those statuses, which is deadly, by the way, especially because they actually have good attacking stats now, or usable. Blissey's is actually not that much higher. I believe Blissey already had 70 or 75. Actually, I can literally look at here. Yeah, Blissey already had 75, but 85 is a pretty big increase. And of course, Chansey has the lucky punch, but then you lose out of Serene Grace, so null point. And I'm getting off track again, as always. I'm sure you guys have gotten used to it by now, but yeah, you got. Oh, I was gonna say, the thing about Tri Attack is it's stab, and it hits 3 times, and it's also just stronger even without stab, and it has all 3 in one move, which is unique. So that's a cool little thing they can do. I believe 105 times 1.5. I would do the math in my head, but I'm lazy. 158. Yeah, so that's like almost double. Not almost double. Actually, yeah, it is almost. No, 180 is double. Is 2 flamethrowers. Never mind. But point is, it's much stronger. It's stab. That's why it's useful. Otherwise, really other notable things. I really need to get to the fucking point because there's a lot of other stuff I want to cover with Serene Grace. Because there's so much. I'm gonna miss a lot, y'all. There's still tons more. Like even just. Okay, for example, Meteor Mash has a 50% chance to boost your attack stat with Serene Grace now, overall. So half the time you use it with Serene Grace, you're getting an attack boost. Similarly, Dazzling Gleam has a 50% chance with Serene Grace. Moonblast has a 60% chance to draw a special attack. 5% miss chance, of course, to balance out the power. And also, Dazzling Gleam is a better boost, you could argue. I mean, it's a better effect, technically, if you want to. I mean, it depends on your mon, actually. You could argue the special attack drop is more useful with Chansey. And then Eternal Beam has a 60% chance to drop Spit F, and it's strong. And then you have other special attack boosting stuff is like Signal Beam. Has a 50% chance overall with Serene Grace to boost. Water Pulse by Tutor has a 30% chance to boost all your stats by 1, which is pretty funny. That's really funny, actually. I think that's about it. Let me think. Seismic Fist has I think it's defense drop. Yeah, 60% chance to drop defense, like Takedown does as well. Anything else with Serene Grace worth noting? Wild Charge Paralysis, Thunder Punch Paralysis, Thunderbolt Paralysis. I already said Body Slam and all that other crap. Shadow Punch has no added effect anymore. I removed it. Never mind, because it doesn't mess with Hustle. That's why I removed it. It's a base power though, which is very useful, of course. Same as the other punches, or the other elemental punches rather. That Ghost is an element, but you guys get my point. Energy Ball, Special Defense drop. Anything else of note? Focus Blast, Special Defense drop. Overall, the burn and like Para are probably the better ones, and then of course the stat boosts and stat drops. But they're all great, man. They're all Flinch with Para Flinch is great, or Speed Boost like with Z. I believe there's other speed boosting Z moves as well. I believe I actually have a guide, but it's kind of outdated now. I've been lazy with updating this thing, but I believe this is pretty outdated. A couple of these are missing moves, but it's still useful enough to have. I believe Z Laser Focus is speed now. Yes, so you can use Z Laser Focus or Z Endure or Z Encore. All 3 of those will give you speed, and a Z Dreamy Kiss late game. So all 3 of those will give you speed boost as well, which you can use to Paraflint shit to death. So from the very beginning of the game, actually, you have Z Encore plus 2 speed. So you can do Z Encore into Hoodwink spam and Headbutt spam and Iron Head spam and Rock Slide spam and all these other flinching moves and Paraflint shit. Or actually, they wouldn't be paralyzed, but 6% chance is great. I believe that's about it. They're not overpowered, of course. I mean, dude, with the power levels in hack, they're gonna be taking damage no matter what. But they are fun to use, and I really, honestly, my favorite part of these lines, this whole line, is the Super Lock gimmick. It's actually, calling it a gimmick is kind of unfair because it's good. It's genuinely good, which is why it's cool, because it's such a niche item that nobody ever fucking thinks about, but now it's actually like viable. Like imagine just getting fucking luck. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay, we'll end it on a really funny note because there's something really funny actually. This is really cool. And this will be the last thing, because otherwise you just have other niche, other utility stuff like Serenade puts them to sleep, that kind of stuff. Dreamy Kiss is 85% accurate sleep move for 2 turns of sleep. So you're a slow Pokemon, so you're actually going to be taking a hit first, usually, and then getting the Dreamy Kiss off, and then 2 turns of setup after that. You can use 2 Calm Minds, and then boom, you're good to go. Guaranteed to. But the really cool thing I wanted to mention, y'all. Oh god, this is really funny. So you've got Fling, which is exclusive now. Actually, I'll show it here instead. Although I actually didn't put the image icons there, did I? Oh my god, come on. All these Fling moves are making it difficult to find actual Fling. That's why I consider changing the name, y'all, literally just for that reason, but it's okay. Hopefully people who are curious when they're looking it up don't get like bored of skipping through all those. That's the reason I put it here, by the way. Oh, the images aren't. Oh, I have to do the little refresh glitch real quick. I'll do that after I upload this video because it's an easy fix for that. It's not easy actually. It's kind of time consuming. I have to like go to another sheet, add the sheet to this sheet, then delete it, and then anything that I do this for, I actually have to do that with all of the new images. If anybody knows a fix for that, that'd be great. I'm pretty sure it's just Sheets being stupid, and I think it's just because this is such a massive Google Sheet, it has so much shit on it that it's just starting to lag with images. So yeah, like for example, I'm really making you guys wait for the funny fling. All right, that's what I'll end it on. So I'm just gonna say this and then talk about funny fling, and then we're done. Because this is probably like an hour long. But this little weird thing where I have images and you can see the little white borders there, it does that with all of my new images now. So for example, when I did Chansey's line and I put this, these images in, all these little icons and stuff, it gives me that formatting glitch. Actually, it will give me a formatting glitch like that, and all of them look like that. And the only way to get rid of it is by copying another sheet on and then deleting the sheet. So it's really tedious. It's not. I mean, it's kind of muscle memory now because it's been doing that for a little while. But usually it works first try. So hopefully that doesn't end up getting worse. But if anybody knows a fix to that, I doubt anybody does because it's probably just sheets being sheets. Fling, funny fling. So yeah. So of course you have actual viable, like you really, so +4 priority essentially. So +4 priority and its stab. So you have a +4 priority 100 base power stab move on Blissey and Chansey. And you can always burn something, you can always paralyze something, or you can always toxic something, which is really useful. Actually, toxic one is really useful if you want to use like toxic and soft boil. Ooh, that's really good. Think about that. It's cool. So that you can Chansey technically gets toxic, I guess, in a really roundabout way. It technically still gets toxic if you wanted to use that. But of course, it takes an item slot. Yeah, it's cool though. And you can only use it once. Yeah, that's another thing. It only has one. Why does it have 10 PP? Oh no, it has 1 PP. It has 10 PP, but you would have to use recycle post game. Oh shit, I didn't think about that, did I? Fling recycle post game. Because recycle move tutors post game. They don't get recycle until you beat the game. And there's still Rainbow Rocket and all those other post game battles that I want people to at least try doing. I didn't think about that. That's kind of overpowered, isn't it? Because you can just flinch everything to death with. I mean, I guess it does take 2 whole ass turns, so it's probably fine. It's probably fine. I mean, 2 turns, you gotta, and 2 move slots. Although, if it's like a really strong fling user, I'll consider making it maybe like. I mean, 1 PP is best case, but I think recycle's cool, so I'll do like 3 PP. I'll do that. Actually, I will do that literally right now. Literally right now, I'll do it as I speak. So the funny thing with fling, I will do it. Hold on, 3 PP. You guys are saying live thought process, man. This is revolutionary, truly. Oh, I should have done the thing where I cross it out and then. Fuck! I have to do this whole formatting shit. Hold on. Just take any of these moves that lost PP. Come on. All right. Move ability. No. Those items. Make this the normal type color. Oh, that's not the right color. Yes. 3. And then make that bigger font because it's a low point PP move. All right. There. Fixed. And then I will just switch on modes here. Now we can talk about the funny fling strategy because it wasn't actually and you guys can read. I'm sure you guys have probably read it by the whole time I've been talking, but I want to say it anyways. So of course you have this good stuff and it's good. And you get these plates after Nanu. So you can do that after Nanu. But the main appeal of, or not the main appeal, because you could argue this is better, but a really funny thing is Lucky Punch Fling. I made it 150 base power, and that's not overpowered because only certain Pokemon get Fling. You'll see the list will build as I do more and more Pokemon, but stuff like monkey Pokemon, Slacking, the elemental monkeys, Darmanitan, all the monkey mons, and then probably like some other mons that like are either got Fling by level up naturally or have like items that are signature to them besides Marowak, because it would be useless on Marowak, because you're throwing away your thick club, which is actually like crucial to your viability. Not crucial for totem. Jesus, off topic. You guys already made a video on them. I don't have to talk about them, man. Why are you talking about them? So you guys have read it by now. You get Lucky Punch, which always crits. All right, that's the joke. So 150 base power stab, and it always crits. So it bypasses boost. You could theoretically like Lucky Punch Fling totem. I mean, actually, it wouldn't work on the last two totems because it's Mimikyu and Kommo-o, and Kommo-o will be steel, and so it'll resist it, so there's no point, and you also will just die after. So it doesn't work for totems, rather. But it could work for like a setup mon, or just for a funny, like it's a nuke, man. It actually does good damage because it's 25 base power overall, because you have 150 times 1.5. You get the crits, bypasses boost, bypasses stat drops. So you could even use that with like the Lucky Punch Giga Impact spam like I was talking about. Although Giga Impact is better because the main appeal is that it crits with the Lucky Punch and Super Luck. I believe it will work as you fling it. So like if you fling a Choice Band, I believe you get a Choice Band boost on fling. I believe that's how it works. But the thing is, fling with Choice Band used to have terrible power. I didn't think about buffing that actually. Maybe I could. It would be kind of cool. I would make it. Maybe I'd make it like nah. You already have Iron Ball for power. And Iron Ball has your speed, but since it's a +4 priority, it's speed. It doesn't matter. It's not like Lagging Tail where it makes it move. It literally removes. It gives you -6 priority or something. I forget the exact number, but it's just your speed stat. So you're still getting priority. Yeah, cool shit. 150 base power. Funny little crit fling. Good meme. He throws his fucking boxing gloves at you and it fucking kills you. It's just pretty funny to me. It's niche. Of course, it's niche. But actually, I do think the status moves, especially, make fling actually viable. And also Razor Claw. Or actually, what was the stronger one? King's Rock was 90 base power flinch, so that's actually it's like a mega fake out basically, which is cool. Oh, and that is my playlist running out. So that's actually perfect timing. My playlist lasted exactly as long as it's probably about an hour of recording. I believe I covered about everything. This was a very long one, and I don't like these guys. I don't dislike many Pokemon. I wouldn't say I dislike them. They're cool, but they're very boring to me, and I don't really give a shit about them. And yet, look at me talking about them for an hour. That's how you know I care, man. I don't know anybody else who puts this much thought and like something. Little tidbit for those of you who are interested. I recently just counted like all the mons I have to do for mon changes and how long it takes me on average, and it's gonna take me like let's say I work on it for a couple hours a day for each mon. Each mon probably takes like 4 or 5 hours depending on everything. If I did it like once a day, 1 mon a day, it's gonna take me a year, and that's 5 hours a day. Like dude, you know how many other ROM hackers even think about spending that much time on an individual mon? They don't give a fuck. And that's not to knock them because they're number one, they're doing what every other fucking ROM hacker does, number one. And number two, or every other regular difficulty hack person does, because they're lazy about that shit, man. They don't really, they're just because people also typically, especially casual players, don't really want this much effort in their changes. They don't even know the implications of the changes. They just want, their plus their regular shit. But again, this is like my little my not little is not a great way to describe it, but it's my passion project, and it's something that I do have a goal of making everything usable and everything good and viable and equal, and nothing on classes, one another, all that fun stuff. And it's kind of like it's very self-indulgent. That's what I'll say. It's extremely self-indulgent actually, because I'm going to enjoy playing it. That's one of the yes, I enjoy creating. Yes, I enjoy making things for other people. Don't get it twisted. I love that. And I do hope to grow, and I hope that I will grow and get more exposure. But that's not really my main priority. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't want to play it myself, man. I'm playing the shit out of this when I'm done. It's like I'm sure a lot of other ROM hackers probably don't do it. Maybe they do. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting question, but this is extremely self-indulgent and has like a ridiculous amount of hours and time put into it compared to other hacks. Even like fan games. Like, I mean, that's gonna sound like a very hot take, and I guarantee you, somebody who makes fan games and knows what fan games will hear that and be like, "Oh, you're just changing things. It's not the." But you have to consider just the sheer hours and effort and like thought that I put into it. I'm not saying that people just haphazardly make fan games, although there are some really shitty fan games out there. But um, you could say at least some fan games probably would take less time, considering I'm doing this on my own. If you were doing that on your own, make an entire fan game, from scratch with RPG Maker, that would take longer probably. Although I'm actually maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, this is really like I did the math, and a couple hours a day for each mon times 360, and that's just mon changes. That doesn't even factor in all of this other stuff. The in-game stuff, the files. Oh, it's a long, long project, and I don't know why I mentioned that. I forgot why I brought that up, but there's no music either. Awkward. Oh no, you saw my analytics. Oh no. Oh. um, I think that's it, y'all. This was a very off topic and tangent. This is more rambly than usual. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure those of you who don't give a fuck probably cut out by now or left it by now because I'm not talking about the mom anymore. This is just me rambling. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything because I usually end up missing stuff. And I like the second I upload, I'm like, fuck, I wish I talked about that, but it is what it is. Um, can't always touch on everything. I think also I need to give my audience more credit because I'm sure most of you guys are reading this stuff and looking at the stuff on the sheet, and you guys already know that you guys already know what the new move effects are. You guys already know the implications of it. But for those of you who don't, even if you know it, like I'm literally the one who's creating it, so it's easier for me to memorize that shit because I'm the one who's making it. Versus if I had just seen this on the sheets, I mean, it's so much change, it would be overwhelming. I wouldn't even, it would take very long to re-memorize all the shit that I've known for years about Pokemon. So I condemn, not condemn, no, yeah, condemn is the bad one. Commend. There we go. I don't commend you guys. I don't condemn you guys. I commend. I commend anyone who is going into this with, I wouldn't say the right mindset, but the mindset that I would expect somebody to go into this with. And I appreciate all of the support and love and thank you guys for listening / watching. And I will get back to work on the other guys. See y'all.